I'll have you know I am live, you silly goose. I'm out here just popping all by myself. I do need to do one thing real quick, and that is open up my creator dashboard, pull that out to a separate window so I may manipulate it. Go do bow. You know? Pure rewards, channel points, manage channel points and stuff. Turn that off for right now. Turn that off for right now. I'll leave those others on. It's not like it's going anywhere, you know? Gee willikers, I wonder who it could ever possibly be. Probably some super cool artist lady. How you doing, Molly? Congratulations on grabbing first on deck, Steve-O. I don't know what you're talking about. Not a clue. But I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes before we get into the game, because I got a couple more things I'd like to do first. Today's been quite the adventure of a day, let me tell you. Man, I am tired though. Well, let me go for my fingers just are not strong enough for this kind of thing no more. Hell yeah. Okay. Let's get into it. I'd say that's a pretty good idea. course, I'd say a lot of things. A lot of things you definitely should not believe. But yeah, no, how is everybody? I'm always asking the big questions, the important questions. Move this like right here, so it's just a tiny bit more visible. And then I pop, where is it anyway? Here it is. I'm going to throw this full screen so it should look good, which it does for the most part.
Hello and welcome to this Electrical Principles training video. In this video, we're going to start to explore the subject of AC theory. Now, this is a subject that envelops an awful lot of different areas of electrical science, including the really important...
Boo, this guy's a tool. Let's see. Oh. This guy's really good. This guy does good stuff. RMS voltage. See, I actually took a test on this today, and this video would have been super helpful to have watched, last night.
DC represents direct current. AC is alternating current. So if you graph these two, let's say if you plot voltage versus time, or even current versus time.
How's our
DC
inventory
current
even
has a
looking?
constant voltage and therefore constant current. In the AC circuit, the voltage will vary. I need to change the graph and make it look like this. So you have a sinusoidal function.
You guys ready to learn AC
So that's how the
theory?
voltage
Because
varies in the AC
that's
circuit.
what we're doing today.
Here is for a DC circuit. Now, a DC current is available if you use a device like a battery. If you connect the battery across a resistor or even a light bulb, current flows in one direction. The conventional current flows from the positive terminal of the battery towards the negative terminal of the battery. Now, let's say if you connect a resistor across a 120 volt source found in a typical household.
I've had hot water bottled.
Now, in this case,
Are you feeling
the
okay,
current
Stigo?
constantly reverses direction.
What's wrong, bud?
In one instant, it's traveling in this direction, and then in another instant, it's traveling in the opposite direction. And so it oscillates 60 times per second. And so the frequency is 60 hertz. It constantly reverses 60 times in one single second. So that's the difference between direct current and alternating current. Now let's go back to this problem. The RMS standard line voltage is 120 volts in a typical household. Calculate the peak voltage. The peak voltage is equal to the square root
No,
of 2
man, I'm like entirely out of
multiplied by
metal
the
grids.
RMS voltage. So the RMS voltage is 120 volts. And if we multiply that by the square root of 2, this is going to equal 169.7 volts. You can approximate it and say it's about 170 volts. So that's the peak voltage found in a typical household line. Number 2, consider the sinusoidal function shown below. Calculate the RMS current that's flowing in the circuit. If this graph represents the current flowing in the circuit at any given instant of time.
No, I've got
So what
grids.
is
It's
the
just
peak
not
current?
building them for
The
some
peak
reason.
current is the maximum current. The maximum current is 10 amps.
Nope, I'm close enough
So
to
if
boop
we want
it.
to calculate the RMS
Why
current,
aren't you building
it's going to be the peak current
metal grids?
divided by the square root of 2.
You have
So
no
it's
metal
10
grids.
amps over the square root of 2.
There we go. That ought to induce some
So
sort of
this
flow.
is going to equal 7.07 amps. So that's how you can calculate the RMS current from the peak current. Number 3, a 200 watt laptop is connected to a 240 volt AC line.
I can say yes, but also
Calculate
no
the
pause.
RMS current flowing from the outlet.
Doc doesn't know what's wrong. Oh.
So we have the average power
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
that's consumed by the laptop. It's 200 watts. And the line voltage, that represents the RMS voltage, the root mean square voltage. And so that's 240.
I hope you can
So
feel
part
better
A,
soon,
our
though.
goal is to calculate the RMS current. The average power is simply equal to the RMS voltage times the RMS current. And so this is 200 watts. That's going to equal 240 times the missing current value. So the RMS current is going to be 200 watts divided by
Oh, nuts. I left my checklist at
240
school.
volts.
Shit.
And so that's
Today we
equal
were
to
given
0.833.
checklists for part of the equipment stuff that we were doing, and I was going to study that a little bit closer, but I left that there. Like a
Now
dummy.
let's calculate the peak.
I'm going to have to ask my group chat if they,
The
if
peak
any of my
current
classmates have it
is
still.
the square root of 2 times the RMS current. So it's going to be the square root of 2 times 0.8333. And so this is equal to 1.1785 amps. Now part C, calculate the peak voltage. The peak voltage is going to be the square root of 2 times VRMS. So that's the square root of 2 times 240 volts.
That would be for single line, or single phase RMS.
And so that's going to be 339.4 volts.
Yeah. Because the equation
let's
for
move on
single
to part
phase
D.
involves the square root 2, where
Calculate
it's
the maximum power
doing all three phases,
delivered from the AC
aka
line.
phase current instead of line current.
The maximum power is equal
would
to the
be,
peak voltage times the peak current.
Square root
So
of
that's gonna be
3 times your
Peak voltage is 339.4
VRMS, or
divided by
IRMS.
1.1785.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
And so the maximum power is
No, you're wrong. I'm an
399,
electrical space engineer.
which you could say it's about 400 watts. Now it's important to understand that the maximum power is twice the value of the average power, which means the average power is 1/2 of the maximum power. So in this case, we could have done 2 times 200 watts, and that would have given us 400 watts, which is the maximum power. So let's talk about some formulas that you need to know. So you need to know that the maximum power is simply the peak voltage times the peak current, and the average power is the RMS voltage times the RMS current. Now let's say if you want to get the maximum power in terms of these values. So let's focus on this equation. Now we know that the peak voltage is the square root of 2 times the RMS voltage, and the peak current is the square root of 2 times the RMS current. Now the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, that's equal to the square root of 4, which is 2. So the maximum power is 2 times the RMS voltage.
I need to speak to
times
somebody
the
who
RMS current.
normally plays this
So those are
game,
the
because I
two
do got a
ways to
question.
calculate the maximum
I got a little inquiry, if you will.
And as we said before,
If you build a space station, you
This
normally
is
incorporate
equal to the
thrusters to
maximum
keep it stable, right?
So
you
the
don't let
maximum
you
power
just don't let that bitch drift through
is twice
space,
the value
right?
of the average power. Now let's focus on this equation. Now we can get the average power.
Because my assumption is yes. Because having
So
this drift around would
VRMS
make it very hard to
is
do
equal
any
to peak
sort of
voltage
automation
divided by
from,
the
or
square root of 2.
you know,
And the RMS
fun
current
things.
is equal to the peak current divided by the square root of 2.
I'm not a fish.
So these two together.
I'm not a fish.
So
I don't know why you guys keep calling me a
So
fish.
therefore we can say
Knock
that
it
the
off.
average power is simply 1/2 of the peak voltage times the peak current. And the peak voltage.
It's not what a fish
times
would
peak
say. You
current
want to know what a
represents
fish
the
would fucking
maximum
say?
power. So thus we can say that
Nothing, because
the
they
average
have
power
enough
is
neurons to
1/2
sense pain and hunger, and that is
maximum
it.
power.
Fish are not intelligent.
So sure you know these
Oh
formulas.
shit, I might be a fish actually, because I'm not intelligent
can use it
either.
in different ways. Number 4. Now this is going to be the last problem of this video.
I said might
An
be. I
RMS
didn't admit
current
to
of
shit.
5 amps flows through a 10 ohm resistor. Calculate the average power absorbed by the resistor.
That clip will not
So
survive.
if we draw a circuit, say this is the AC power source, and here we have a 10 ohm resistor. So the current that's oscillating in this circuit, it's really going in both directions, so keep that in mind. The current is 5 amps. So how can we calculate the average power? The average power is the RMS voltage times the RMS current. And based on Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So the RMS voltage is equal to the RMS current times the resistance. So what I'm going to do is replace the RMS voltage
Man,
with the RMS
who's
current
sending
times
me
resistance.
DMs? Who's
So if
messaging
we
me?
plug that in, this is going to be equal to the current times the resistance times another current value. So the average power is the square of the RMS current multiplied by the resistance. You can also say that it's 1/2 of the square of the peak current times the resistance. But we're not going to use that equation in this example since we already have the RMS current. So the RMS current is 5 amps, and we need to square it, and the resistance is 10 ohms. 5 squared is 25, and 25 times 10 is 250. So the average power absorbed by this resistor is 250 watts. Now let's calculate the peak voltage. So we can use this equation to calculate the RMS voltage. The RMS voltage is the RMS current, which is 5 amps, multiplied by a resistance of 10 ohms. So that's an RMS voltage of 50. Now the peak voltage is the square root of 2 times the RMS voltage. So that's going to be the square root of 2 times 50. And so that comes out to be 70.7 volts. So that's the peak voltage. And that's it for this video. So now you know how to do some calculations involving
Let's see. Let's do how to calculate kVA. No, that's the wrong way to do that. kVA, kVA, and kVAR. Minesweeper. I don't know what ELO means.
Hey there guys, Paul here from the engineeringmindset.com. In this video, we're going to be discussing power factor. We're going to start off really easily with some simple analogies to help you understand the basics, and then we'll advance it into electrical engineering terms with some worked examples.
I usually play it on
power
chess.com.
factor,
I think that's
what is a good
the
and
site. I
bad
don't
power
know.
factor,
I played a total of
what causes
3
bad
games
power
of chess,
factor,
and 2 of them
and
were
how
against
to
the
fix
same
bad
person.
power factor. So what is power
So-
factor? Power factor is a unitless number used in alternating current circuits. It can be used to refer to a single piece of equipment such as an induction motor, or for the electricity consumption of an entire building.
Or,
In either
you know,
case, it
grid.
represents the ratio between true power and apparent power. The formula being PF
I don't
equals
know.
kW
I
divided
don't
by
open that
kVA.
site a whole lot.
So what does that mean? My favorite analogy to explain this is to use the beer analogy.
Yes, the beer
We
analogy.
pay for beer by the glass, but inside the glass there is both beer and foam.
We actually went over
The
this
more
in,
beer we have, the less foam there will be, so we get very good value for money.
we actually
If there
had
is a
to
lot of
learn
foam
this
and there's
analogy in
not a lot
class.
of
It
beer,
was
and so we're
funny.
not getting very good value for money. The beer represents our true power, or a kW, our kilowatts. This is the useful stuff we want and need. This is what does the work. The foam represents our reactive power, or a kVAR, kilovolt
kVAR.
amps reactives. This
Let's
is the
say
useless stuff.
No,
There will
KVAR is
always
the
be
industry
some,
term
we
for
have to
it.
pay for it, we can't use it, so we don't really want
KVA
much
is,
of it. It does actually have a
is
use
the
and a purpose, but we'll
industry
see
term,
why
not
later
KVAR, but
in the
use
video.
KVAR. I don't know.
The
It's
combination of these kW, our kilowatts, and a kVAR, the kilovolt amp reactive, is our apparent power, or our kVA, meaning the kilovolt amps. Power factor is therefore the ratio of useful power, or true power, in kilowatts, or kW, divided by what we're charged for in kVA, the kilovolt amps. So it's telling us how much value for money we're getting for the power we consume. If we briefly touch on electrical engineering, and I will keep this part brief, then we might see this expressed as a power triangle. In this case, I'll draw it as a leading power factor as it's easier to visualize. The beer, or true power, is the adjacent line.
You know, it's
Then we have
pointed
the
down because
foam,
it's leading
which is the
because nobody
reactive
wants a
power
leading
on the
power
opposite.
factor. That shit's
Then
bad.
for the
That
hypotenuse
shit's, like,
side,
real
which
bad.
is the longest side, we have the apparent power.
Lagging
This is at
where
an
it's
angle
at.
from the true power.
Although
The
too much
angle is
lagging
known as
will cause
theta.
excessive stress to
You
your
see,
systems
as the
and
reactive
primary
power
reasons,
or the
it's just
foam
bad timing.
increases, then so does the apparent power or the kVA. We could then use trigonometry to calculate this triangle. I won't in this video as I'm just covering the basics, so we'll just see the formulas you need, but we'll do some calculations and worked examples later in this video. If we look at a typical residential electricity bill, then we'll typically see just a fee for the amount of kilowatt hours used, because the power factor and the electricity consumption will be very low. So electricity companies tend to not worry about this. However, on commercial and industrial electricity invoices, especially buildings with smart or interval electricity meters, then we'll likely see charges and information for the amount of kilowatts, kilowatt hours, kilovolt amps, and kilovolt amps reactive used. Large buildings in particular will often see reactive power charges in there,
Fun
but this
facts for
depends
you.
on the electricity supplier and the agreement they have
If
with the
you go into your
consumer.
house
The
and you
reason
plug
they
in
charge
a
a penalty
shit
for
ton of
this is because when
capacitors
large
into your
consumers
fucking
have bad power factors,
one
they
of
are
your
increasing
like
the current
outlets,
flow
and I
through
just
the
need a
electricity
whole bunch of
network
capacitors
and causing
and just
voltage
keep 'em
drops,
there.
which reduces the
Your power bill
supplier's
will go down.
distribution capacity and has a knock-on effect for the other customers. Cables are rated to handle a certain amount of current flowing through them, so if a lot of large consumers connect with bad power factor, then the cables could overload. They could also struggle to meet the demand and the capacity agreements, and then no new customers will be able to connect until they either replace the cables or install additional cables.
And that would
Reactive
also
power
require
charges occur
additional
when the
outlets in
power
the
factor of a
facility, and
building
that's just a
falls
mess.
below a certain level. This level is defined by the electricity supplier, but it typically starts around 0.95 and below. A perfect power factor would be 1. However, in reality, this is almost impossible to achieve. We'll come back to this part later in the video.
Because
In
cables
large commercial
naturally
buildings,
have
the
inductive
overall power
currents.
factor is likely to sit in the
inductive load
following
on them.
categories. Good power factor is generally between 1 and 0.95. Poor power factor is anything from 0.95 and 0.85. Bad power factor is anything below 0.85.
What do you mean poor
Commercial
power
office
factors
buildings
below
are usually somewhere
0.95?
between
We
0.98
use
and
0.9.
0.92.
We use 0.8.
Industrial
0.8
buildings
is
could
like
be as
the
low
standard.
as 0.7. We'll look at what
Fucking-
causes this shortly.
The British.
Let's first have a
Them,
look
they're
at an
fucking
example.
50 hertz.
If we compare two induction motors that both have an output
What
of
kind
10
of
kilowatts
sociopath
and are
uses
connected to
50
a
hertz?
three-phase 415 50 Hz supply, one has a power factor of 0.87 and the other with a power factor of 0.92.
The rest of the world. The
Both
rest of
motors
the
will
world
deliver
uses 50
10
hertz.
kilowatts of
America's
work,
the
but
only
the first
country that
motor
uses
has a
60
lower
hertz.
power factor compared to the second one.
It's
meaning
awesome
we're not
because
getting as much
everywhere
value
we
for
go,
money. The first motor will need to draw 11.5
it's not a weaker power
kVA
supply.
from the
Actually,
electricity
our power
grid
supply
to
is
provide the
stronger
10
and
kilowatts of
requires
power.
less
The
energy to
second motor
output.
will need to draw just 10.9 kVA from the electricity
It's
grid
a
to provide
lower
the same
number,
10 kilowatts of
sure,
power.
but
This
we
means
also
the
need
first motor
less
has
current.
5.7 kVArs and the second
Your
motor
guys'
has
power
just 4.3
struggles at
kVArs.
long distance
Remember,
transmission,
a kilowatt
but is
is
really
the
good
bit, and that's the
in
useful
short
stuff.
distance,
The kVArs
short
and the
area
foam, that's the
distribution.
not so useful stuff.
Our power is
The kVA
really
is
good
what we're going
at
to pay
super
for,
long distance
and that's the kilowatts
transmission,
and the kVAR
but is
combined. How did I calculate that? For kVA, I use kilowatts divided
that may
by
be
power
true,
factor, so
but
10 divided
shush
by
you.
0.87 to get 11.5 kVA. For kVAR,
At
I use
least
the
it's
square
not
root of
as
kVA
bad as
squared,
China's.
subtract kilowatts squared.
Holy shit, China's
Square
plug
root of
scared the fuck out of
11.5
me.
kVA squared minus 10 kilowatts squared.
Imagine the
You could have
US
also found
plug,
the power
except
factor
the
from kilowatt and
the
the
prongs are
kVA
angled
using 10
into
kilowatt
each other,
divided by 11.5 kVA.
actively reducing
We
the
could have found
air
kilowatts
gap
from the
between
power
the two
factor and
prongs
kVA
and increasing
using
the probability of
0.87
arcing.
divided by 11.5 kVA to get 10. So what causes
Plus with
poor power factor?
shoddy
In
maintenance
most
and
cases, the power factor
the
is
fact that
affected
China
by
doesn't follow the
inductive load.
ICEEE
If we have a purely resistive load, such
That's
as an
not an
electrically
uncommon
resistive
thing.
heater, then the voltage and the current
Same thing with India.
waveforms
India
would
has
be
the
in
exact
sync or
same
very
outlets.
close.
It's fucking
They would
sketchy.
both pass through their maximum and minimum point and then pass through the zero axis at the same time. The power factor in this case is 1, which is perfect. If we drew a phasor diagram, then the voltage and current would be parallel, so all the energy drawn from the electricity supply goes into doing work, in this case creating heat. But if we took an inductive load, such as an induction motor, then the coil's magnetic field holds back the current and results in a phase shift where the voltage and the current waveforms fall out of sync with each other, so the current passes through the 0 point after the voltage. This is referred to as a lagging power factor. Earlier in the video I said the foam or the K-bar is useless. That's not exactly true. We actually need some reactive power to create and maintain the magnetic field which rotates the motor. The reactive power is wasted in the sense that we get no work from it, but we still have to pay for it, although we do need it to be able to do the work in the first place.
So
If we drew a phasor
self-excited
diagram
motors
for
will
a purely
generate their own
inductive load,
K-bar,
then the
which
current
is
would be at an
fucking
angle
sweet,
below
but
the
it
voltage
also
line,
really
meaning
struggles
not all
if
the
you
electricity
attach
consumed
other
is doing
motoring
work.
loads.
If we took a purely capacitive load, then the opposite
But
happens
if you
to the
use
inductive
separately
load.
excited
The
generators,
voltage
they
and
are
current
very
are
good
out
at
of
handling
phase, except
motoring
this
loads,
time
but
the voltage
they
is
also
held
require
back.
an external source
This
to
causes
start.
leading power factor.
Well, they don't
Again, this
require
will
it.
mean that not
Sometimes
all
you'll
of
have
the
a little bit of
electricity being used is being used to do work.
a little bit of power
But we
still
still have to
stored up
pay for it
in the
regardless.
coils. You know,
If we drew
still
a
in that
phasor
inductive
diagram
field,
for a
you'll still
purely
have just enough
capacitive
of a
load,
field
then the
to
current line would be at an angle
cut
above
across
the
your
voltage line as it's
armatures
leading.
and you know,
Correcting
start
poor
generating power.
factor.
But a lot of the time,
What
you
can we
need
do
to
to correct poor power
introduce
factor and
an
reactive
additional
power
power
charges?
source.
In most cases, we come across lagging power factor caused by inductive loads. To correct poor power factor, we can add capacitors or inductors to the circuit, which will realign the current back into phase and bring the power factor closer to 1. If we have a lagging power factor caused by high inductive loads in the circuit, then we add capacitors. If we have a leading power factor caused by high capacitive loads, then we add an inductive load to the circuit. These need to be calculated, and we'll see some example calculations of this at the end of the video. So why should we fix poor power factor? Poor power factor means you need to draw more power from the electricity network to do the same amount of work. Therefore, the cables need to be larger, so the installation is going to cost more money. If the power factor becomes too low, then the electricity supplier might charge you a penalty fee or a reactive power charge. Poor power factor can cause losses in equipment like transformers and leads to high heat gains. It can lead to voltage drops and can even reduce the life expectancy of equipment.
You guys
in
want to see
extreme
some sick
scenarios.
shit?
Capacitor calc.
Distribute. No, not this video, not this one. Yes, here we are.
I'm Chuck Wallace, Alabama Power Company, division of Southern Company. Back in 2008, the NESC, new NESC guidelines required
this is the like safety video. Never mind. This one isn't the cool one. Yeah, here we go.
Stand back from the window a little bit.
Judging by where that's happening,
I don't know, because electricity.
that's, 240 volts AC.
Picking up now. Here we go.
Oh, no, that's at a distribution transformer blowing up. We love to see that. A plasma popper, I haven't.
A tree lopping mishap resulted in over 100 homes losing power, and I'm sure the neighbors weren't too pleased about that.
Looks like they were, let's see, that's a single line distributed to multiple areas. Kinda cringe. Yep, that's a downed line.
Poor.
Power lines completely obliterate a tree in New Brunswick, Canada.
Fucking Canada. Down line is code for get the fuck away safely. Do you know how to safely get away from a down power line? Here, chat. Since we're here talking about down power lines, the safest way to get away from a power line.
In California,
Of course, I've heard of the Waffle House Index. But the safe way to get away from down power lines is to put your feet together and shuffle, ensuring that you don't disconnect your feet while you do your shuffle. And don't fall. That's also important, is do not fall. You don't want to accidentally create a power... You don't accidentally want to create
I'm just glad it's not on the ground.
a differential...
There it went.
you don't want to create a potential difference between multiple points in the ground away from a power line like that, because that line could conduct up through your body to the lower, to the further point away from the line. It's actually really, really cool stuff. Plasma popper. Plasmapopper. You mean like one of these? Because I remember when this video came out. Golly, I was just still in high school when this came out. Nighthawk and Light, we love you. What's he even doing nowadays? Solar-powered flying noodle. Self-cooling fabric. This man is just turned into a mad scientist, really. Oh, of course I've heard of I Did a Thing. That man scares me. I've seen some of his videos, and his blatant disregard for personal safety is genuinely impressive. No, there's no way he did another one of these. This one was also fun. I didn't see the makeup gun one, though. You guys want to watch the makeup gun video while we do a little space engineering? Fuck it, we're watching the makeup gun.
There you go. It's that time of year again when I'm out of video ideas. So today, I'm going to steal them from you.
Yeah. No, I'll just say banana.
What is it with Australians and having the most
And then we'll see
unhinged
which one of
shit
you has the
imaginable?
best idea, and then you get a prize. This naked picture of me. Unless you're a child, then I'll send it to your dad. Okay, the first idea comes from Mariana Banana on Discord, and they want me to make the makeup gun from The Simpsons, which I'm slightly scared to make, as the last time I made a gun for applying female products, the New South Wales police came to my door. But I think this time I'll be alright, as I just won't call it a gun or show you how to make it.
Oh, so he's Welsh.
Okay, the first step in making the gun
Somehow
is to
that's
get
worse.
some PVC pipes. This one is
No,
for
it's
my
New
face,
South Wales,
and
that's
this one is for the
Australian.
air pressure chamber. Then I just took the bicycle valve out of my
Why
bike
do you want to
tire
make a New South Wales, though?
and glued it into this cap. And then glued all the other parts together with this simple ball valve in between the chamber and the barrel. Simple, right? No. That would have blinded me.
There's so much flour in the air.
They made a dent in the wall with flour. It's very hard to get the right amount of power. Too little and it doesn't come out, and too much and I'm permanently doing whiteface. And I think what might help is making a trigger mech that opens this ball valve very fast, so that I won't need as much PSI, but I still have a large volume of air coming out, pushing the powder out all at once. And to do that, I'm going to make a wooden stock by using this pretty useful tool that allows you to measure strange and irregular shaped objects. So
I
that
don't
way
know
can copy the
why
shape
it's
of the
New
PVC
South
pipe onto the
Wales,
wood
dude.
so it has a good fit.
Ask the Australians. They're the ones who copied the Welsh, and as we know, the Welsh
Now,
are
to turn
poor.
this ball valve
They have
very
to.
quickly,
They're so
I'm gonna
poor they
use
have
some
to
spear gun
borrow
rubber and
letters
leverage.
from the rest of
So
the
I
world.
cut and grinded down this metal piece. to
That's
extend
not my
the
joke.
length
I
of the
did
ball
not
head.
come up with that joke. I
always
stole that
get
joke
comments
from a
whenever I'm
YouTuber
grinding
I used to
telling me
watch
to be
decade,
careful as
like
the
a decade
sparks
ago.
can cause fires. But don't worry, I'm well aware of
Yeah,
this.
a decade
I always
ago.
have my fire extinguisher
I
underneath
haven't
the
watched
grinder.
Nerdcube since like 2015.
Then I attached the rubber and made the simplest trigger possible. This wood just gets in the way of the valve turning, and then when I squeeze it, it releases, opening the ball valve on the gun way
So instead of
quicker than I
borrowing
could. Also, I've
letters, they're
said the
just
G
stealing
word
them.
enough,
Gotcha.
so I'm now going to refer to this thing as a powder pusher. And I'm also not happy with this clumsy corded pump that I've got it hooked up to. Like, what if I need to apply makeup out in the bush or something? So I bought this portable electric pump with a pressure gauge, which looks very cool, and then sprayed the whole thing grey to make it look more illegal for the police that are watching. I'm talking about you, Megan.
Talking about you, Megan.
And I did another test with the new portable pump, but this time with a ping pong ball.
That ping pong ball is going to fucking eviscerate.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Shattered the ball. Look at what it did. How's that possible? And in my attempt to make this thing weaker, I think I made it stronger. But I'm going to continue anyway. And now I need to figure out how to get the different kinds of makeup in the position on my face. And Homer's device shoots 3 kinds of makeup. A general white face powder, that eye stuff, and lipstick. So ideally I can just have one barrel and put the makeup inside already in the shape of a face so it all comes out in one go. So I tried that. And that doesn't work at all. And having the makeup clumped up in a tissue means I've created one of those anti-protester beanbag things that cops use, but
Beanbag
specifically
guns.
for my face. So instead I'm going to make barrels within the barrel and then fill them individually with makeup. And this means I need to modify the powder pusher. And I couldn't find a piece that turns a 40mm pipe into a 90mm pipe, so I'm just going to make an adapter on the lathe. Then I glued it all together. And this looks awesome. So now I just loaded up some makeup.
5, 4, 3, 2.
And that didn't work very well, so I tried some liquid makeup,
That's gonna work less well, I imagine.
and that worked even worse. So
Yeah.
I'm going back to the powder, but this time with more. And the 2% of my audience that are women, and the 8% that are clowns, know that makeup isn't cheap. Even this Halloween variety I bought was like $20 a packet. But luckily for the ladies and clowns watching, I'm going to show you how you can save some dollars and make your own. You start by squeezing the flour out of corn into a bowl, and then you squeeze the blue out of some blueberries and you mix it all up. Then you place the blue powder mixture in your housemate's tray that their dead grandmother passed down to them that they don't want stained, and you mix it all up, making sure to get out the clumps. And then bung it in the oven. And once it's dry, you've got your own blue powder, perfect for gender reveals and starting California bushfires.
No, stop.
And eating.
Don't. That's raw cornstarch, you idiot.
Then I loaded that up into the barrels. And I was about to test this out on myself, but I've realized a potential problem. If the pipes aren't secured properly inside the barrel, then I've just made a spear gun, which is why I'm going to test it first on someone I'm not afraid to hurt. A woman.
What PSI do you want?
Go 48.
I did 40, okay, 48. I like it. You're going higher.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Holy shit.
How is it?
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Did that hurt?
It hurt a little bit.
It did?
Yeah, it kind of stung.
Hey, that's usually wait. When you usually put on makeup, it stings as well, right?
Wait, that
kind
looks
of a-
good.
Would you
Wow.
date this?
This is great.
Can I go on a date with this?
Yes, great. It even got the cheeks.
I want to
Yeah.
see what I look like now.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You don't have to. You know. It just it looks good.
I trust it. I trust this process.
And Tate's makeup looks pretty good. I would say she looks better than she usually does. So now it's her turn to shoot me.
Down and then press the trigger.
Alright, is that one there's recording? The wide's recording, isn't it? Okay. 3, 2.
How you feeling?
Alright, did anything happen?
You look very pretty.
Do I?
Yeah,
What do I look like?
My dude look like he went to
My eyes have a layer,
Circus de World.
layer of just flour. It's like I've got cataracts. Can you flip the screen around? Can I look myself?
Now you want to kiss yourself.
And I think that worked very well. I see no difference in my makeup and Marge's. The makeup gun gets 7 out of 10. Okay, the next suggestion comes from someone wanting me to create a device that makes drinking water fun. And luckily, I don't have to, as the sponsor of today's video, Air Up, has got that covered.
Gross. Yuck. Yuck. We hate sponsorships in this house.
And the next idea comes
No.
from some guy on Twitter that I forgot his
Fucking
name. And they want me
disgusting.
to turn one of those
Get the
little
fuck
kid
outta here
push
with that.
cars into a lawnmower, which is a great idea, as everyone knows that kids are really bad at doing yard work.
Hey, wake up. Can you get back to work, please? Thank you.
Okay, so the first thing I did was ruin a child's day by buying the last little tyke car in the store, and then I ruined someone's marriage by buying the last whippersnipper in the store. And I think you Americans call whippersnippers something else, like lawn trimmers or edge trimmers or something else that doesn't make sense.
Weed
And you're also
whackers.
probably confused why I even bought a whippersnipper in the first place and don't use a Sharpie Spinny. But there is a good reason. If I bought a Sharpie Spinny and put it on the bottom, I would want to use it without the blade guard for aesthetic reasons. But this would be too dangerous. And with the blade guards, it's too lame. But with a whippersnipper, it's got a plastic wire, and that way I can get my feet nice and
That
close
will
and
penetrate
only
skin.
sustain minimal foot damage.
Is there any
You
chance
will
you
eviscerate your flesh using one of those. Don't fucking do that. Don't be this guy. This guy is not smart.
And despite my best efforts, I could not make it inside the car. So I'm going to have
should
to
go
make
get
some
some cobalt.
modifications. First, I took off the roof and turned it into a convertible. And then realized that I'll actually be able to wear the roof like a backpack. Then I cut some holes in the back. And somehow, in my random cutting, I managed to make a nice little flap for the motor to sit on. And then I also got the whippersnipper head in the right place on the front on the first go. And I think it's done.
Looks like fun. You having fun?
Look at the mobility.
Whoa.
Pretty crazy.
Can you honk the horn? Whoa.
So now to measure how well it works, I'm going to compare it to a normal Sharpie Spinny. But I don't have much grass, so I'm going to just do this edge tuft. And with the normal Sharpie Spinny, I cut half the grass in 11 seconds. And now for my little car.
So, let's just hope this works.
Were you going to turn it on before getting into it?
Yeah, I need to because I can't get in it.
I could pull it.
It's like an old-fashioned car. You know, you start it up
And then you jump in.
and then you
Oh.
jump in.
I see Miso's in chat. Hello, friend. Howdy, buddy.
Okay, you ready?
We're watching videos. We're supposed to be doing engineer study, but we're taking a break from that to watch people who probably have engineering degrees do dangerous shit.
Yeah, it's hitting me as well. It's horrible.
See, that's
want
what he
goggles?
gets. That's what he fucking gets. He's not wearing his eye pro. He's not wearing his fucking eye pro. No, you want to know who is a sociopath, has an engineering degree, and is incredibly lucky? motherfucking Michael Reeves. This face. This face. Face of a monster. His engineering degree is no, wait, that's right. He almost had a degree in computer science and then decided not to because that shit's dumb. You don't need a computer science degree to get a job in computer science. You just have to be... Man, what the fuck? Filipino Harry Potter with technology. The tomato spike video was actually really funny, and we're going to watch that now.
It's not as stupid as it
What's up, Molly?
sounds, okay? I love it when they put the whole red tomato. You can just bloop, right into the garbage where it belongs. Plus it doesn't get its, you know, sticky booger tomato cum all over everything. I posted that back in 2017, and for 2 years I've been thinking of ways to get tomatoes out of my salad and out of my life faster. Solution 1 is to just not put little red shit bombs filled with bitter garbage in my goddamn salads. Fucking yucky. Yeah, but Michael, I like tomatoes. Yucky. Yeah, well, some people like not vaccinating their kids. It's whatever. So what am I gonna do? Put tomatoes into my salad for the rest of my goddamn life? No, that's a silly, childish solution. No, what I did was build a robot that stabs them with a giant metal spike. You think your ideas are stupid just because I made a video on them?
All of Stock's Reddit. But again,
Elon Musk of bad ideas. If Elon Musk was a 3-foot-tall Filipino and dumb. Before we can think about detecting the tomatoes, we have to first figure out how to move a big-ass metal spike from point A to point B really precisely.
Sorry,
so when
the
we
fucking
do detect them,
the Elon Musk of bad ideas got me.
Shit out of them. If it looks familiar, that's because it's...
Let me pause this because this is a high-impact comedy, and I am low tolerance for that sort of thing. Shush, Moobot! The fuck out of here! Go to the mega gay zone. Nobody wants to hear your shit. You know what, Streamlabs? You fucking do. Away with you. Into the earth with you. Nope. I'm going to sail in. Okay, I was really worried I was gonna fucking slam into this rock up here. That'd be a horrible, horrible thing. No, I just have the opacity turned way the fuck down. It's the invisible prison. But... Elon Musk bad ideas got me. What the fuck was I gonna say before that killed me? Oh yeah, that's right. Fish only have enough of a nervous system to understand, ow, I'm hurting and I am dying, and, hungry. That's it. That's all fish can fucking process with their fucking 28 neurons, my guy. They are not intelligent at all. I did already say that, and I'm saying it again, because fish are not smart. So imagine how dumb you have to be to lose to a fish.
It's the corpse of my very first 3D printer that I made a video about way back when I used to cut my hair, apparently. But I rebuilt it so that now instead of a 3D printer extruder, it has a big-ass metal piston spike. Big-ass metal piston spike. Big metal piston spike. Big metal piston spike. I am so excited about this because it has enough power to go clean through my hand if I'm not careful. And I'm using it to stab tomatoes. How has no one stopped me from making YouTube videos? But Michael, I hear you ask.
Not only did they not stop him from making YouTube videos, they gave him a house to do it in.
Some special instructions.
In which he found a girlfriend.
And it won't be able to tell the difference between 3D printing an object and skewering a disgusting fucking tomato. Now for the stabbing, I hijacked the fan signal on the 3D printer board itself, so now when I send the command to turn on a fan from my computer, instead of turning on a fan, big metal piston spike.
Big metal piston
Oh,
spike.
that's scary. You know, I've never actually seen this stab anything before, so I grabbed this apple from the kitchen just to test out the spike power. Wow, it's really uncomfortable putting my hand under there. I don't like that. Fuck. That worked way better than I thought it would. And it's picked it up. It fucking picked it up. As amazing as this is, I was still positioning and triggering the spike manually from my computer. That's doo-doo. Hopefully with some fancy computer vision code, we'll be able to detect all these bitter red landmines in my salad, and it'll automatically position the spike over them and pluck them out with the might of Zeus. All right, now we have to detect the exact positions of tomatoes within a salad, or else the big metal piston spike machine that we built is gonna be useless. To get a video feed, I flex taped this webcam to a tripod to stare at the salad at all times.
I hope everybody's having
Saying
a
these things
wonderful
out
day.
loud makes me sad.
This
I'm gonna go
Wednesday
kind of
has been,
fast because it's
not
like
super
1
for
or
me,
2 or
but, you know,
3,000 lines
is
of
what it
code,
is.
and also that's
I took a test today and I did not do
Here's the video from the webcam, pretty boring. Okay, so then we run this color mask over that video to isolate only the red pixels on the screen, but oh, they kind of look like shit because tomato skin's fucking reflective for some reason, so it has all these black splotches, so we do some more image processing over here to isolate them and close up those red splotches, and then you reapply that to the original image, and then run blob detection over that to detect clumps of like pixels, and then you reapply the detections on that back to the original mask, and then bing bang boom, that's it. That was all I had to do. You run that and you get the detections. What does all this mean? I don't fucking remember. The way I code is I drink lots of Monster and pass out for 8 hours. It's kind of like alcoholism, but less productive. By themselves, tomato detection software and spike machine are pretty cool, but you put them together, you get a machine that extracts tomatoes from my salad. Or a machine that explodes tomatoes all over my salad because the spike is going 50 miles an hour. I hadn't really thought about. I'm glossing over like 1,000 or 1,500 lines of code to make it easier and less boring. But if you really wanted to see it, here it is on the screen right. Oh, time's up. Oh, you missed it. Oops, sorry.
That shit gone.
Okay, so it's not as portable as a Nintendo Switch, all right? But what do you fucking want from me? It's all put together. We got tomato detection hooked into the big metal piston spike machine. Now there's only one thing left to do. I got a salad here, but it looks like stuffed rat shit. I wonder why that is. Oh, it's because it has yucky fucking tomatoes in it. Let's fix that.
I have streamed Ultra Kill before.
God fucking damn it! It was so close. It's still trying.
Use the glasses. Okay. Let me start a 5-minute timer.
Oh, we got it! Oh, we got it! Yes! 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 That's 2 out of 4. That's good enough for me. It works on a cyclical detection system, so it evaluates the video, finds the tomatoes, and then sends the spike after them, then repeats the process. Because after you send the spike, as you might have noticed, you don't really know how the salad's gonna look. To which you might ask, Michael, why do you need such a big spike? To which I'd say, shut the fuck up. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever so it's just constantly checking for tomatoes. Right now it doesn't see anything, but if I add, I don't want to put my hand in there. If I add one, it should look for it and then send the spike. I love this so much. It doesn't matter how many tomatoes there are either because my code sends special instruction packets containing every single detection to the printer. /spike, the big metal spike, mailspike.com. But that's nerd shit. No one cares. This is one of the greatest inventions in human history. This is this generation's fire or running water or Minecraft. I can't keep it all for me. I have to share it with someone else. Hey, Will, how's it going? You hungry? You look pretty hungry. Let me get you some cereal, all right? Let me get you some cereal. Here you go, Will. I'll get you your cereal. Don't worry.
Why does he put the milk first? Why does he put the milk first?
Here you go.
Sound like...
Oh no! Oh god, it's tomatoes. That's not cereals. Don't worry, no, I can do something about this. Well, come with me, and I can help you with this. Come on up into my hobbit hole. Come on up.
In an attic.
Come on up and get those tomatoes out of your.
It smells like carbon
monoxide.
Yeah, it really does. All right, William Osman, fix your cereal. Be really fast about it though. Oh. Yes! Fuck yes! Good! Hell yeah! Oh, you look surprised. You look surprised that something I made work.
It's so violent!
70 PSI. Be quick. The camera has some automatic white balance, but I can change it. I have on the fly, like X-Y adjustment. Don't worry, it'll adjust. The bullfish. The white balance changes so fucking
Oh god!
You want to get a salad from Costco? My machine kind of messed up. The last one I had.
The outfit is completely different. The
Yeah.
clarity of this video.
It's also daytime, Will. How about you just shut your...
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Molly, what game are you talking
Hi,
about?
let me get a salad, please.
Oh my...
Thanks for the pizza, Michael.
Fuck you.
Now.
Finally, after a hard day, I can relax with a salad,
Oh,
tea,
shoot.
and a good...
Hey, Wishy, what's going on, bud?
There, there, and oh no!
Hold on.
The Costco lady was...
Let me put that to pause for a moment. And give you a quick shout out. But what's going on, dude? How is fucking Yakuza? Like, how is stream, my guy? Welcome in, Raiders, by the way. My name is Lord Aquarius. I am a space propagandist VTuber, meaning I do a little bit of anything and everything for the sake of entertainment. It's Judgment, actually, but it's the makers of Yakuza. Ah, gotcha. But I'm glad you're having fun with it. When I dipped out, you were talking to that really cute Happy Burger girl. What was going on with that anyway? Like, our main character learned how to do emotions, if I remember. But little bit of information for people who are just getting in here. We're doing some studying, or we're supposed to be studying right now, but I am lazy, and we're watching Michael Reeves' video at the moment, taking a little break from learning electronic theory. Not just electronic theory, it's AC theory. Has it been 5 minutes yet? I cannot see any of my waypoints. The only thing that's telling me where I need to go so I can get back to base is just colors. But yeah, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Wishy, please go take some time to go rest, go get some food, go get some water, especially. Because water is important. And I hope everybody who just showed up has a wonderful day. We should probably get back to studying, though, because I'm supposed to be studying, but I'm also... I don't know, man. I don't want to learn about electronic theory again, because, like, it doesn't matter how many times I study it. For some reason, it's just, like, not sticking. I think something that I should also probably go over is, what's it called? Device numbers, as per the ICEEE. Oh, I can put my glasses back on. Heck yeah. But yeah, no, we're gonna get back to watching this video, and then when we're done, we will go back to enjoying some lovely, delicious electronic theory.
No,
or I could go get my backpack and go practice calculations, but that's nerd shit. I'm already enough of a nerd. I don't need to go practice math.
Image, big metal piston spike machine for removing tomatoes.
I got a surprising number of it right, but I do need to practice my K-var, and true power calculations.
Good. There. Yet they remained muffled until he instinctively picked at his ear and pulled out a log-sized wax the size of a date. Part of the ceiling opened like the wet pouch, pulsing, and it buried it.
Oh, man.
Now, Frank lived across the back street from a morbidly obese lady called Miss Montez, who pretended to be a widowed pole dancer, but was really a PETA agent. Oh, it got it. Oh, it got it. I didn't even notice this.
Well, while we
Fucking
sit here,
reading.
I'm
It got
going
all
to,
of them. I
set
mean,
this back to
it
default
buried
color.
some of them. So I picked.
But yeah, no, if any of you guys have any questions about AC theory, power distribution, or, you know, anything related to the power industry, feel free to ask. Asking those kinds of questions helps me study. I explained to Molly earlier the difference between British and American power, and why, although they have a higher power rating, American power is equally as
random rhetorical question, and you get that feeling in your stomach that I'm about
both
to
have their
transition to a
own strengths and weaknesses.
But you know what doesn't taste like
it's-
shit? Honey. You like that as a smooth transition into today's
It's-
sponsor, honey. You know what else is a
interesting,
smooth transition is getting honey in your browser. Now we're gonna pretend you haven't already
Ew,
heard what
gross.
honey is from.
Advertisements. I hate that. Me and my homies hate advertisements. Electrical distribution system that has subtitles in a language I don't understand.
Hello my dear friends, welcome to RCU. I hope everybody is fine and doing well.
Actually, it
Recently, I
occurs
had
to
a
me I
request
probably shouldn't be working on electrical distribution systems because we're talking about prime movers at the moment. So I should be going over things like how to balance a power Oh, this seems like a cute little informational video. Oh,
Power can be generated
thank you,
from
GE
many
Grid
different
Solutions.
sources. GE's electrical balance of plant solutions works seamlessly across a broad range of applications to get power from the source of generation out into the grid. Turbines and generators are at the core of power plants. They need advanced monitoring, protection, and control to ensure optimal performance. GE motors and drives enable the auxiliary processes throughout a generation plant, and our advanced monitoring and control solutions help maintain process integrity. Our advanced communication solutions, including wireless and wired, enable an intelligent and connected power plant.
I don't need to hear this propaganda. The fuck out of here. How does the power grid work? Combined cycle power, plant energy balance analysis. This is probably what I'm gonna need. Although this man is standing actually in front of the literal panel that I have for my job, so we're gonna watch this.
So here's an important thing: unless we're going to die, don't break away the shot.
Okay. Okay, so he's running a hydroelectric dam. I'm assuming.
Hi there, guys. Welcome back to the plant.
Go back a little bit. What he has here is a manual override to a gate that controls the flow of water, which in turn controls the amount of water turning a turbine, which spins field windings and magnets around a crankshaft or turning some sort of shaft, which field windings cutting across armature windings, which is just wraps of copper cabling, typically copper. Sometimes if you get really fancy, it's something more expensive like silver, but typically it's copper. You get wraps of those, and magnets moving across them creates electricity. You wrap a whole bunch of them, you get a whole bunch of electricity for one pass. This will regulate how much electricity you can create, but you can only go up to a certain RPM before you start dealing with phase losses, power factor differences, synchronicities, you know, different issues that make it hard to connect to the grid. A really good example of that would be if you were to let all of the water in a dam through it at once, you would overspeed your turbines, which would create either too much current or too much voltage or both, and basically just liquefy your power lines. Which you know, not a great thing, not the super best in the whole wide world. Where's my starbase? I should be able to see. No, there it is. I was wondering, why am I so far off? Oh, because, yeah, that's like at the end, and like, these are super huge. Fuck. I forgot how long this thing is. Well, geez. Where was I? Oh, yeah, that's right. You can't let all of the water through on a hydroelectric dam. It's like a normal generator, you know? You can only spin it so fast before you start incurring losses. But something you can do is put a whole bunch of like increase the number of windings attached to your your turbines, or increase the gear ratio to put more torque on your motors, which will allow you to, create more power. Effectively, what you want to do if you're trying to make more power by letting in more water is add more spinny things with magnets attached. Because spinny thing inside a copper mass makes electricity. Goodness, dude. I kind of want to go grab a snack because, a little hungry, but at the same time, I'm supposed to be on a diet. And that's lame. That's super lame. Bro, I hate dieting. This stuff is not fun. But the good news is, my diet is very specifically designed for, being able to handle, like once or twice a month, out of like one or two weekends out of a month, I can grab like a whole ass pizza and just enjoy that by myself, which is, fantastic. The trade-off is I spend a lot of most of the days I will have, under 800 calories in a day, despite the fact that I do rigorous exercise near like 5 days a week. Sometimes less. I don't want to say most of the time. Sometimes it's less, but that it's that huge calorie deficit that really helps. That really helps with the weight loss, and because it's entirely protein based, that also means my gym gains massive, my weight loss stellar. I just have a really bad issue of sometimes I will have a little bit too much and I will break the ketosis cycle and my day is ruined because that stuff takes like 2 weeks to build up. Oh shoot, we're supposed to be watching videos about electrical stuff. This is like the entire point of why I do this, is so I can watch videos and like study my electronic theory nonsense. Okay, so I don't think they're retiring from YouTube per se. I think they're just retiring the Good Mythical Morning name. Or maybe they're just done with YouTube? Hold on now.
House, they love butts. Back in kindergarten, all this time and these resources and putting it into one solitary video that might just get a little bit more views than an episode of Good Mythical Morning. And we didn't stop having big, ambitious ideas. We just kind of convinced ourselves that we needed to take those big, ambitious ideas and we needed to drive across town and try to talk some TV network executive into letting us make the big, ambitious thing that we wanted to make.
Right, so what we started doing, where we started pouring a lot of our creative energy was in writing television pilots, developing television series, and pitching those starring us. And the response that we got back was, you guys aren't the right fit. More than once, that was the message that we got back. So then we pivoted and we started developing TV shows, writing pilots. Actually, we also wrote a movie not starring us.
We tried that.
And the feedback was, it's not the right time.
I'm unsure is what they're trying to communicate, but my guessing is they're not exactly done with YouTube. They're just done doing the Good Mythical Morning stuff. But I'd also have to sit and watch that entire video. And although I do like Rhett and Link, I appreciate what they've done for, you know, like, creative works. I am not truly that invested into their particular realm of stuff. Let me... How to calculate... KVAR. KVAR. Capacitor bank size. See, this is more what we're trying to get into, you know?
Capacitor banks are used in electrical substations to improve power factor. In this video, we will learn with a mathematical example how to calculate the required reactive power of the capacitor bank to improve the power factor. Consider subscribing to Electrical Engineering Planet channel to support our community. Also, don't forget to share, like, and let knowledge enlighten your world.
Oh, is it already done? Well, heck, okay.
As we illustrated before on the video of power factor triangle that you can watch from the link in the description down below. The power factor is the ratio between the real power or active power delivered to the load divided by...
But the way this man speaks is kind of not it, Chief. He has what I would refer to as the inverse Canadian draw, which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, a brief explanation is,
Canadians, when they speak, video, we're going to cover the basic idea behind power factor.
Talk up, and then when it's your turn to talk, they will talk down.
The power factor, which I'm going to label as
like,
PF,
unless I have the
can be calculated
back-ass
by
words.
taking the true power, TP.
But if I remember correctly, that's exactly how it is. Because that is how it is from my home state.
I'm going to give you some examples to help you see.
Anytime somebody talks down, that makes you know, whenever they pitch down their voice while they're speaking, it makes me think that it's my turn to speak, and it's just
is also equal.
It kind of drives me nuts when people talk like that.
Phi. Some books might have
it's subtle things that don't matter.
And that is equal to the resistance divided by the
matter a lot to me for no reason other than Yeah.
A power factor of 1 means that the energy being used in the circuit is efficient. There's not much, you don't have any energy losses due to reactive power.
Fuck.
So
Bombed
all of
the
the energy
shit
that's
out of
being
that fucking
consumed
refinery.
is being
Oopsies.
consumed by the resistor.
Oh man, now
the
the
apparent
station is
power
drifting.
equal to the square root of the square of the true power plus the square of the reactive power. And this is based on the power triangle. So here we have a right triangle with the angle phi. This is the true power, the apparent power is the hypotenuse, and the reactive power is opposite to the angle. So thus we can see that cosine of that angle is equal to the adjacent side
It's just people getting
divided by
overly
the
excited.
hypotenuse based on SOHCAHTOA.
I'm sure it's fine. Like, what's the worst that could have happened, you know? This one's damaged and now it's not refining anything. See? Perfectly fine. We're not talking about how this one's missing
the
a
voltage
75
is
of its,
120 and the frequency is 60 hertz. And this is connected to a resistor and an inductor. Now let's say the resistor has a value of 100 ohms and the inductor has an inductance
probably
of
should check on the
200
connecting components as well.
milliamps.
Nope, connecting
So
components are
calculate
fine.
the current flowing in this circuit and also the power factor of
Yeah,
the circuit.
everything's fine. Everything is A-okay here.
By the way, if the inductor wasn't there, if there was only the resistor and the source, the power factor would be 1. But by adding the inductor is going to displace the phasor diagram between the voltage and the current. And so the power factor won't be 1. It's going to drop or decrease from 1. So we're going to see by how much it's going to deviate from 1.
Okay, after I drop this
So
down.
the first thing we need to do is calculate the inductive reactance, XL. And it's equal to 2 pi FL. So that's 2 pi times the frequency, which is 60 hertz, times the inductance, which is 200 millihenries, or 200 times 10 to the minus 3 henries.
I don't know why sorter blocks put their fucking
And
their
so
little
the
control
inductive
panels
reactance
on
in
like
a
the
circuit
back
is
corners that are hard to reach.
75.398, which I'm going to write at the top. So now that we have the inductive reactance, we can now calculate the impedance of the circuit. The impedance, represented by the symbol Z, is equal to the square root of R squared plus XL minus XC squared. Now we don't have a capacitor in the circuit, so the capacitive reactance, XC, that's going to be equal to 0. R is 100, XL is 75.398.
I should probably go
So plugging
actually
this
name
in,
these in order instead of
this
just kind of
is
guessing.
going to be 125.239 ohms. Now that we have the impedance of the circuit, we can now calculate the current flowing in the circuit. So according to Ohm's law, V equals IR, but for AC circuits, V equals IC. So the current flowing in the circuit is the voltage of the power source divided by the impedance. So we have a 120 volt power source divided by an impedance of 125.239 ohms.
I love this silly little space game, dude.
And so the current flowing in the circuit is 0.95817 amps. So now that we have the current, we can now calculate the apparent power, the true power, and the real power. So you can see how they relate to each other. And once we have that, we can then calculate the power factor. Let's start by calculating the apparent power. So the apparent power is equal to the RMS voltage of the source times the RMS current that is flowing in the circuit. So that's going to be 120 volts times the current of 0.95817 amps. And so the apparent power, which I'm going to write here, is
Just want to make sure I didn't accidentally mess this up.
114.98 watts.
4, 5, 6,
Now
7,
let's
8.
calculate the true power. The true power is the actual power that is dissipated by the resistor, and that's equal to I squared times R. So that's 0.95817 amps, don't forget to square it, and then times the resistance of 100 ohms. And so the true power dissipated by the circuit is 91.809 watts. Now let's calculate the reactive power. Instead of I squared times R, it's going to be I squared times the inductive reactance XL. So it's 0.95817 amps squared, and then the inductive reactance is 75.398.
Here we go.
So the reactive
That's a lot
power
more satisfying.
is 69.222
I'm not going
watts.
through all of these just to do exactly that. Which two are incomplete? Hold on now.
Now let's take a minute to confirm that our math is indeed correct.
173 and 172.
So there's a formula that we could use to check the math.
Can I show this on
The
HUD?
square of the apparent power is equal to the square of the true power plus the square of the reactant power. So that's 114.98 squared. That should be equal to 91.809 squared plus 69.222.
Wait, why are these two all sorts messed up? What the hell?
114.98.
This one's like A-okay.
Rounded to the nearest whole number, that's going to be 13,220. 91.809 squared.
To shit for no reason.
That's rounded to the nearest whole number is 8429. And then 69.222 squared. That's going to be 4792. Now 8429 plus
Let me just
4792.
zip over here and grab my
that's
repair ship.
13221, which is approximately equal to 13,220. It's close enough. But nevertheless, that means that our math is correct.
Oh yes, the sweet,
There's some rounding
delicious
differences, but this is
engineering.
still, good enough to
It's
work.
close enough, so we'll call it good.
Now let's calculate the power factor of the circuit. The power factor is going to equal the true power divided by the apparent power. So the true power is
That was probably my favorite fact to learn in class was
watts.
negligible
The apparent
information.
Power, 114.98.
You don't need to go 40 decimal places out to find the answer. Usually about 1 or 2 decimal places will get you close enough, depending on the kind of answer you're looking for.
0.7985. So that is the power factor of this circuit. So we have a power of approximately 115 watts being delivered to the circuit, but only 91.8 watts is actually being used to do something useful. Only this is the actual amount of energy being dissipated by the circuit. The rest is reactive power. And note that the reactive power is not the difference between the apparent power and the true power. They're related to each other by the power triangle. The square of the apparent power is the sum of the square of the true power and the reactive power. Now there's another way in which we can calculate the power factor. It's equal to cosine of phi, which is the resistance divided by
a little
the
bit of a
impedance.
note for you guys. I've started
The
taking
resistance of the
melatonin
circuit is 100
gummies
ohms.
at night to
The
try and
impedance
better my sleep
is
habits.
125.239 ohms.
And I think next time, when I
This will
run out and
also
I need
give
to
you
go
the
get a
same
refill,
answer.
I'm not going to get
It's
gummies
0.7985.
because gummies are just too much fun.
So now you have two ways in which you could determine the power factor of the circuit. Now one thing I do want to mention is that the true power is the actual power that you're using in the circuit. Some of that energy could be lost as heat, some of it is used
We're going to go build the specific
apparent
refining core, and
is
then I
what
will
you're
move
being
on to
charged for.
the next step
Let's
that I was
say when
looking
you're
at
running
doing for
electricity.
this.
That's what the electric company is
I
charging
need to
for.
build a protective
So you're being
armament
charged
platform
for about 115 watts,
which is going to take
when you're actually using
a lot,
91.8
a lot.
watts to do something useful. So that's why the power factor is important, because it tells you how much you're paying for with respect to the real value of what you're getting. Therefore, to improve the efficiency of a system, what we want to do is we want to increase the power factor. We want to get it as close to 1 as possible. The question is, how can we do that? Well, when you have a circuit that is mostly inductive, you can add a capacitor to bring the power factor closer to 1.
Hey, this is the thing I mentioned earlier. If you want to save some money on your electricity bill and risk going to federal prison,
so I'm going to put the capacitor in series.
Plug a whole bunch of capacitors into your wall outlet. It's
now,
illegal. It's illegal to do
the
that.
Capacitor has a value of 70 microfarads. So the amount of current that's flowing in a circuit is going to change.
The fact that he did 2 straight lines for his capacitor really fucking bothers me. Although it is technically correct, the more common symbolism for a capacitor is a curved line overlapping a smaller straight line.
The impedance of the circuit will change. The inductive reactance will stay the same. And apparent power, true power, all of that is going to change. So let's begin by calculating the capacitive reactance, which is 1 over 2 pi times the frequency times the capacitance. The frequency is still 60 hertz, but the capacitance is 70 microfarads, or 70 times 10 to the minus 6 farads. And so the capacitive reactance is 37.894 ohms. So now that we know the capacitive reactance, we can calculate the impedance of the circuit. So it's going to be the square root of R squared plus XL minus XC squared. So that's going to be, let me put that over here. So R is still 100, and then we need to take the difference between the inductive reactance and the capacitive reactance, and then we need to square that difference. So the impedance of the circuit is now 106.8 ohms, which I'm going to write here. Now we can quickly calculate the power factor using the resistance and the impedance. So the power factor is R divided by Z. So that's, we have a resistance of 100 ohms and an impedance of 106.8 ohms.
Up first be...
And so now the power factor is 0.936.
Hi Snowy, welcome into chat,
so
bud.
It's much higher than what it was before. Now let's calculate the current flowing in the circuit as well. So the current is going to be the voltage divided by the impedance. So the voltage is 120, the impedance is 106.8.
I forgot to set this one to drain all.
And so that's going to be 1.1236 amps. So that's the current that's flowing in the circuit.
And then after cobalt.
Now let's think about what this means. So when we added the capacitor to this circuit, the power factor increased.
Gold.
It changed from 0.7985 to 0.9363, which is good because it means that we're getting more value for what we're paying for. So we want a higher power factor. We want it to be as close to 1 as possible. So if you have a circuit that is mostly inductive, adding a capacitor will increase the power factor. If you have a circuit that is mostly capacitive, adding an inductor will increase the power factor. Now there is a trade-off though. Because the power factor went up, the amount of current being drawn from the power source also went up as well. because the original current that we had before was 0.95817 amps. The new current that's being drawn from the circuit is 1.1236 amps. So even though we are getting more bang for the buck, so to speak, we're going to be spending more money in terms of utility bills.
We are doing some space engineers while studying
so
AC
we're going to pay
theory.
more money by adding a
Although
capacitor.
I took a test
However,
on AC theory
we're making
today,
better
I
use
kind of
what we're paying
didn't do
for
super well
because
on
we
it,
have
so
a
I'm
higher
just
power factor.
going over this stuff again. More
So adding a capacitor to this RL circuit increased the power factor, and it also increased the current drawn from the source, which increases how much we're going to pay in a utility bill. But we're making more efficient use of what we're paying for. Now let's look at another example problem. So we're going to have two different circuits. Let's say this is some device that requires 500 watts of power. And let's say this is a 120 volt power source. On the right, we're going to have the same device, which also uses 500 watts of power. But the power factor is going to be different. For the device on the left, which we'll call device 1, let's say that has a power factor of 0.8. And on the right, this has a power factor of 0.9. We're going to see the effect that
the
power
I'm never
factor
gonna
has
fucking
on
see.
the current that's drawn from the source, assuming
Honestly,
both
I got no
devices
idea how I'm
uses
gonna
the
find
same amount of
platinum
energy,
ore. That stuff's like
or requires
impossible
the
to
same
find.
amount of power. So with this information, how can we calculate the current flowing in the circuit? What we need to do is calculate the apparent power.
Oh,
we know that the power factor is equal to the true power divided by the apparent power. Well, it turns out that the apparent power is the true power divided by the power factor. So the true power required by the device is 500 watts. If we divide that by 0.8, we can get the apparent power for that circuit. 500 divided by 0.8 is 625 watts.
Silicon for stone.
That
Interesting.
is the apparent power. So to calculate the RMS current flowing in a circuit, it's going to equal the apparent power divided by the RMS voltage. So that's 625 watts divided by 120 volts. And so the current being drawn from this circuit is 5.208 amps. Now let's calculate the apparent power for the circuit on the right. So it's the true power, which is 500 watts, divided by the power factor of 0.9. So the apparent power is 555.5 repeated. So now the current is going to be the apparent power divided by the voltage of the source. So the current that's being drawn from this power source is 4.63 amps. So now let's talk about this. So assuming that we have a device that uses the same amount of true power, when the power factor is different, it affects the amount of current that's being drawn from the circuit. So by having a higher power factor, we're able to draw less current for the same type of device, and thus the electric bill will be less than it would be if we had a system with a lower power factor.
Oh fuck, I forgot about
In the
scrap
last
metal.
example, we saw that the addition of a capacitor to an inductive circuit not only improved the power factor, which allowed us to make more efficient use of the energy we were paying for, but it made the circuit more conductive by decreasing the impedance, and so more current was drawn from the power source, which would lead to a higher utility bill. But in this example, we have two devices that uses the same true power. In a situation like that, the device with a better power factor is going to draw less current, and so that's going to lead to a lower utility bill.
Cool. We also went over this.
In this video, we're going to talk about transformers. So we're not talking about Optimus Prime or anything like that, but an electrical device.
This fucking guy.
That's commonly found in an AC plug or an adapter and things like that. So what's the purpose of a transformer? A transformer can be used to increase or decrease an AC voltage. A step-up transformer increases the AC voltage. A step-down transformer decreases the AC voltage. So let me give you an example of one. So this is the circuit diagram or the electrical symbol for a transformer. And so there's two sets of coils. On the left we have the primary coil, on the right the secondary coil. So notice that the right side has more coils than the left side.
Oh shoot, I'm gonna need interior plates if I want any of that to work. Actually, I'm gonna want it to be armored, so...
Now let's say that the number of coils on the left side is 100. So that's the primary coils. And the number of coils on the right side is 1,000. So that's the secondary coil. So the secondary coil has 1,000 turns, and the primary coil has 100 turns. Now let's say if the primary voltage is 12 volts, what do you think the secondary voltage will be? It's proportional to the number of coils. So notice that the number of coils increases by a factor of 10. 1,000 divided by 100 is 10. So the secondary voltage is going to be 10 times higher. 12 times 10 is 120 volts. Now let's say the primary current, which we'll call IP, let's say it's 10 amps. What do you think the secondary current will be in the second coil? Now, as the number of turns increases as you go from left to right, primary to secondary, the voltage will increase, but the current will decrease. So the current's going to decrease by a factor of 10. 10 amps divided by 10 will give us a secondary current of 1 amp. Now, what is the power on the left side? Power is voltage times current. So if we multiply the primary voltage by the primary current, 12 times 10 is 120. So the input power, or the power in the primary coil, is 120 watts.
There we
now
go.
For the secondary coil, or the output
And then
power,
I just dump all this stuff back in here, weld it up, I'm good to go.
which is 120. So notice that the input power is equal to the output power. The power absorbed by the transformer is equal to the power delivered by the transformer. And this makes sense because energy must be conserved. The rate at which energy is transferred into the transformer has to equal the rate at which energy is transformed or transferred out of the transformer. So, we can come up with an equation that can relate these variables together. So we said that as the number of coils increases, the voltage increases, the current decreases, but the power remains the same. So NS divided by NP, that's the ratio between the turns in the secondary coil compared to the turns in the primary coil. That's equal to VS over VP because these two are proportional. But this is equal to IP over IS because the current is inversely related to N and V. And then the input power is
I believe ore should cover
which means that
just about everything, but I'm going to add
voltage times
gravel
the
just in
primary
case.
current is equal to the secondary voltage times the secondary current.
Because I don't
So
trust
for
it to actually,
transformers,
include gravel.
These are the main equations that you need to be familiar with. Now let's work on some problems. You can pause the video if you want to and try the problem. A transformer has 400 primary turns and 1800 secondary turns. The input voltage is 12 volts and the output current is 3 amps when connected across a resistor. What is the output voltage? So let's start with a picture. So this is going to be the primary coil, and here we're going to have the secondary coil. Now the secondary coil is
Okay,
connected
this should
across
only
a
have
resistor,
uranium. Alright, it should only have scrap in it.
and the primary
Which it
coil
does. Sick.
is connected
This should
to
only have uranium in it.
a
Which it
source
does. Sick. So.
Now, the primary coil has 400 turns, and the secondary coil has 1200 turns. So VP represents the input voltage, and VS represents the output voltage, or the secondary voltage. IP represents the current flown in the primary coil, or the input current. IS represents the output current, or the current in the secondary coil. Now we're given the input voltage.
I'm debating on whether or not I want to start the armored part of the runway today. I don't think I do, because that would require a lot more time and effort than I would really have to output.
3 amps. So let's start by finding the output voltage. So we can use this formula. NP divided by NS is equal to VP over VS.
Wait, why does this have uranium and stone in it?
For some reason I put 1200.
Oh, damn it, I'm stupid.
So in this example, NP is 400, NS is 1800.
I'm gonna need to go through here, harvest all of these, and input only sorters.
1800 times 12 is 21,600.
Gross.
And that's equal to 400 times VS. So let's divide both sides by 400. So 21,600 divided by 400 will give us a source voltage, or rather a secondary voltage of 54 volts. So that's the voltage across the coil,
Nope,
the secondary coil, and it's also the voltage across the resistor. Now let's move on to part B. Determine the input current. So we can use this formula. NP over NS is equal to IS over IP, since the current and the number of turns in the coils are inversely related. So NP is 400, NS is 1800, IS is 3, and now let's calculate IP. So 1800 times 3, that's 5400.
Okay, what is this
So
short
that's
on?
equal to 400 times IP.
Computers? Really?
So let's divide both sides by 4.
All things to be short on. You're short on computers. Okay. Okay, no, that's no problem. That's no fucking problem at all.
13.5.
I ain't even fucking worried about it. See how little I am worried about it? 10,000 computers. Not a problem.
What is the
Don't
value
even have to
of
think
the
about it
resistor?
that hard. We just kind of
So how
vibing.
can we calculate the value of the resistor? Well, we could use V equals IR. In this case, we need to use the secondary voltage and the secondary current. So VS.
Did I just make 10,000 of the wrong fucking thing? I'm not smart.
So now we
Oops.
can calculate R. It's 54 divided by 3. So the resistance is 18 ohms.
There
Now
we go.
part D, how
There
much
we go.
power is
Now I've
dissipated
made.
by the resistor?
Now I'm making the right thing.
So we can use I squared R. The current that flows in the resistor is 3 amps, and the value of the resistance itself is 18 ohms. So 3 squared is 9, 9 times 18 is 162. So 162 watts is dissipated by the resistor. Now what is the power in the primary coil and in the secondary coil?
Yo, 1,000 should be
So the input
more
power,
than enough.
power in the primary
I would
coil
hope.
is equal to VP times IP. So that's 12 volts times 13.5 amps. So this is equal to 162 watts. So the power that was absorbed by the input coil, or the primary coil, is equal to the power dissipated by the resistor. And the power delivered by the secondary coils must be the same too. So if we take VS and multiply it by IS, we should get the same answer. So 54 volts times 3 amps is also equal to 162 watts. Number 2, an ideal 100-watt transformer has an input current of 20 amps and an output voltage of 12 volts. Determine the input voltage. So let's start with a picture. So right now, we don't know if we have a step up or step down transformer, because we don't know the relative amount of turns in the secondary coil compared to the primary coil. So I'm just going to draw a generic transformer.
Okay, what am I short
Let's say
on?
it's connected across a resistor in the secondary coil.
Construction components? Lame.
Now the input current, IP, is equal to 20 amps. NP, we know it's 200 turns, according to part C. We don't have the value of NS, and we don't know the value for IS. Now we do have the value for VS, the output voltage. That's 12 volts. But we don't know VP. So how can we figure out VP? How can we determine the input voltage? Now keep in mind, we know it's a 100 watt transformer. And we could use that fact to calculate the input voltage. So the power of the transformer is going to equal voltage times current. So 100 watts is equal to VP times a current of 20. So we need to divide both sides by 20. So 100 divided by 20 is 5. So the input voltage is 5. Now we could use the same formula to calculate the output current. So it's going to equal VS times IS. So this is 100.
What are you
VS
short
is
on?
12.
Construction
And the secondary
components,
current
really?
is going to be 100 divided by 12. And so the secondary current is 8.33 amps. So now,
Fine, I'll do it
we can
myself.
focus on part
Really?
C.
Seriously, 3. I'm short
How many
3.
secondary turns does the transformer have if there are 200 primary turns? So let's use this formula. NP over NS is equal to VP over VS. So NP in this example is 200. Our goal is to calculate NS. VP is 5 and VS is 12. So 200 times 12 is
What could possibly go wrong?
and that's going to equal 5 times NS. So we need to divide this by 5. So NS
Okay,
is
some air
2400
sorters.
divided by 5, which works out to be 480 turns. So that's how many turns we have in the secondary coil. So would you say this is a step-up transformer or a step-down transformer? We have 200 turns in the primary coil and 480 turns in the secondary coil. And also notice that the voltage increased from 5 to 12. So based on that fact, we know it's a step-up transformer. So anytime that NS is greater than NP, which means that VS will be greater than VP, when these conditions are met, we have a step-up transformer. And if we have the reverse, let's say if NP is greater than NS, or if VP is greater than VS, then this is going to be a step-down transformer. So in this example, NS is greater than NP, and VS is greater than VP. So we have
Probably don't need to go down the line. I don't. Actually, now that I'm sitting
Number
here
3.
fucking thinking about it.
A transformer has an input voltage of 120 volts and an input current of 5 amps. The output voltage is 11.9 volts and the output current is 49 amps. How much power was absorbed by the primary coil? So let's draw a picture. By the way, do we have a step up or a step down transformer? Notice that we're going from 120 to 11.9. So this is a step down transformer.
Fuck.
So I need to put more coils on the left side than the right side.
If I just add ore, this should be draining of its gravel.
So the circuit should look something like this. So this is 120 volts on this side, and the current is 5 amps. On the right side, the voltage is 11.9 volts, and the current is 49 amps. So
Is this set to blacklist?
Absorbed by the primary coil. So the input power is going to equal VP times IP. So that's 120
Waitlist. Waitlist.
5 amps.
Waitlist.
Now 120 times 5 is 600 watts. So that's how much power was absorbed by the primary coil on the left
There,
side.
this should be...
Now what about the power delivered by the secondary coil? So it's going to equal VS times IS. So the secondary
What is this
voltage
even
is
supposed to be
11.9
pumping in?
as the output voltage, and the secondary current is 49 amps.
Only magnesium.
11.9
Okay,
times
I'm just kind of a silly
gives us a
fella.
power of
A silly little goober, if you will.
watts. So notice that this
Why are you
transformer
sucking in
is not
iron?
an
You
iron
shouldn't be
transformer.
drawing iron.
The power is not exactly the same. Most transformers are 99% efficient. Some are even better than that, but it should be close. So to calculate the efficiency, we're going to take the output power.
Oh,
divided
that
by
would
the
be
input
why.
power,
I did
and then
ore, not
multiply it
ingots.
by 100%. So the output power is 583.1 watts. The input power is 600. And so if we divide those two numbers,
Okay.
583.1 divided by 600, that's 0.9718, and then multiply that by 100. So this particular transformer is 97.2% efficient, which is not bad. But there is some amount of energy that's lost in this example. So no transformers are 100% efficient, but there are some that are 99% efficient, which is good enough.
That'd be that one over there. Needs to be finished up. I can do that in a second. This one, number 5. Train all, whitelist. Only ingots, add. Cool. I keep fucking doing it. I keep fucking doing it. AC circuits. We'll go over AC circuits while I sit here and finagle with this.
So the first thing you need to know is that
Wait, how did the bots get out of jail? Back to jail with both of you.
is equal to the peak voltage
Fuck out of
divided
here.
by the square root of 2.
The bots are not allowed to join the party.
Current is equal to the peak current divided by root 2. Now let's say if we have an AC source connected to a resistor. In this circuit, energy is transformed into heat. The current and the voltage are in phase. So voltage is equal to current multiplied by resistance, and the average power consumed in this circuit is simply voltage times current. So let's work on a problem. Let's say if we have a 120 volt AC source. Let's say that the resistance is 100 ohms. What is the current that flows in this circuit? So using the equation V is equal to IR. The voltage is 120. The resistance is 100. So 120 divided by 100, the current in the circuit is 1.2 amps.
Let me actively go through the
Now,
rest
how
of
much power
these. This one
dissipated
is...
by the resistor? So power is equal to voltage times current. The voltage across the resistor is 120 volts, and the current that it uses
24 should be
is 1.2 amps.
this one.
So 120 times 1.2 is 144 watts. Now, let's say if we have an AC signal that is an alternating current attached to an inductor, which has this symbol. The inductor
This
has
one
the
hates.
inductance, let's say 50 millihenries. What equations apply in this circuit? Inductors present inductive reactance to an AC circuit, which acts like resistance. The inductive reactance, represented by XL, is equal to 2 pi FL. XL is measured in ohms like resistance. So just as V equals IR, V is equal to I times XL. If you were to plot a graph between
Oh no, my competence is showing again.
and the inductive reactance, these two are directly related. As the frequency increases, the inductive reactance increases as well. So when F goes up, XL goes up. And as the inductive reactance goes up,
Cool.
the current in
We
the
just have to
circuit
complete that one last sorter. They're all good to go.
current and inductive reactance are inversely
Yeah,
related.
theoretically.
So high frequency AC signals
Is this overkill? Absolutely. Do I care? Not even remotely. It's cool. No, no. Please, please come back. I don't want to drift out into space.
You need to know that omega, the angular frequency, is equal to 2 pi f. So XL can be represented as omega times L. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, what the hell am I short on?
Also,
Is it construction components? I'm willing to bet it's construction
an
components.
inductor,
It's
the
construction
current
components.
acts
It needs 100?
You need to know that as well. So whenever you
Jeez,
have
alright then.
AC signal
Golly.
passing through
I'll give it its 200 construction components.
AC signal,
It's 100.
the
It's
current
not
in
200.
it is
But
changing. It's increasing. and
shit, man,
decreasing.
that's a lot.
It's not
That's a
constant.
lot.
And because the current changes, you're going to have a change in magnetic flux inside the inductor. As the current increases, the energy stored in the inductor increases as well.
Very
And as
cool.
the current decreases, the energy stored in the inductor decreases. So energy is stored in the inductor temporarily. The inductor stores energy in this magnetic field, and then it releases
God, it looks so
back
cool.
as the current in the circuit increase and decrease.
Then this should just be
So
filling
in
up with
case of a
ingots,
resistor,
which it is.
Energy in a resistor is dissipated as heat, so that energy is gone.
Oh, it's doing the thing. It's doing the thing so well. What's even better is this is just free to just gather any resource that's available, whereas these will gather the specific resources I need at any moment.
It doesn't consume energy. It simply stores it and gives it back. So there's no loss in energy. Now granted, no inductor is perfect. There's going to be some resistance.
Why are you getting stoned? Get that out of here.
And that resistance will dissipate energy as heat. But assuming if the inductor has no resistance, then it dissipates no energy. It simply stores it temporarily. Now let's talk about frequency. Let's say if the frequency of the AC signal is 60 Hz. What does that mean? This means that the alternating current changes direction 60 times in 1 second. Frequency is the number of cycles per second. So the current changes direction 60 times per second.
Crushing it, bestie.
Let's say if the frequency was 5 kilohertz.
My golly, that just has a little bit of everything now, doesn't it?
That means that the AC signal changes direction 5,000 times in a single second. So, whenever you see the word frequency,
Okay, why is
in
this
terms of
filling up
AC
with
signal, that's what it means.
uranium?
Now let's move on to a capacitive circuit.
But this one isn't stopping it.
Capacitive reactance is 1 over 2 pi Fc. And we know that omega is 2 pi F. So capacitive reactance is 1 over omega times C. So as the frequency increases,
Okay, I have no idea what's filling that with uranium.
F is on the bottom of the fraction.
Yeah, so I should push it into that. This should stop it from pushing out unless it's
If we were to plot a graph
ingots or
between the capacitive
gravel.
reactance and the frequency, here's how it would look like. as the frequency goes up, the capacitive reactance goes down. So it's an inverse relationship.
It should only be receiving scrap metal.
And the voltage in the circuit is
So
equal
why is
to
it
the
receiving
current
uranium?
multiplied by the capacitive reactance. The capacitive reactance, like the inductive reactance and resistance, they all have the same unit, and that is ohms. So just keep that in mind. By the way, for a capacitive circuit, the current leads the voltage by 90. For an inductive circuit,
If I messed up and made this weightless ores on accident,
can store energy temporarily in its magnetic field. The capacitor can store energy.
nope, that only
temporarily
weightless
in its
stone.
electric field. In an AC circuit, the
This one
voltage
only
is
weightless
constantly increasing and
ingots. This one should only
basically a sideways.
weightless
Voltage goes up,
silicon.
then goes down, and so forth.
Silver, yeah.
Whenever the voltage is increasing, the capacitor is storing energy. It's being charged. It's storing energy in its electric field. And when the voltage decreases, the capacitor releases that stored energy. Because it absorbs and releases energy just like an inductor, the capacitor doesn't consume energy. So only the resistor consumes energy. It loses energy as heat. It doesn't give it back.
Okay, this one shouldn't be refining anything at all, so this one also probably has, yeah, a large cocktail of things.
Now let's work on some problems. Number one, the peak voltage of an AC signal is 170 volts, and the RMS current is 5.4 amps. What is the RMS voltage?
Why is this receiving things? What's giving it things? Is it you?
To calculate the RMS voltage,
Weightless ingots pushes that
it's
way.
simply equal to the peak voltage divided by the square root of 2. The peak voltage is greater
Weightless
than the
nickel
RMS
pushes
voltage,
up.
and that's always going to be the case. So it's 170 volts divided by root 2. So this is equal to 120.2 volts. Now part B, what is the peak current? The RMS current is equal to the peak current divided by the square root of 2. So if we rearrange the equation by multiplying both sides by root 2, the peak current
This is getting
is equal to
iron
the
for some
RMS current
reason.
times.
This also has iron, meaning this is
So it's
pushing
gonna be the square
iron.
root of 2
S-
times
places it's not
5.4
supposed to.
amps. So this is going to be about 7.64 amps. So the peak current is always greater than the RMS current. And the RMS voltage, or the RMS current, is always less than the peak value. Number 2, at what frequency will a 250 millihenry inductor have an inductive reactance
Okay,
of
so
700
this should
ohms?
only draw the
So
things
feel
that
free to try this
are, that is relevant to it now.
The inductive reactance
Meaning
is
this
equal
should
to
only be
2
able to
pi
draw the thing
times
that's
frequency
relevant to it now.
times the inductance. The inductive reactance has unit ohms, so it's 700 ohms. We're looking for F, the frequency. And L is the inductance of the inductor, which is measured in henries, or in this case millihenries. So 250 millihenries is basically 0.25 henries.
Oh, that
And
would be
divided by
why.
1,000
Whitelist.
henries to henries. So the frequency is going to be 700 divided by 2 pi times 0.25. So it's going to be about 445.6 hertz.
Because it didn't have anything blacklisted, it was just dumping all of the resources through it.
Number 3, a 60 hertz AC signal at 120 volts is connected across a 500 millihenry inductor. Calculate the inductive reactance.
This
So
is
let's
still
make an
set to
electronic
blacklist. Just when I put it
So
on
here's
wait.
the AC signal.
Yeah, it's on waitlist.
Here is the inductor.
Drain all.
So it's the voltage is 120 and the frequency is 60 hertz. inductance is 500 millihenries. So to find the inductive reactance, let's use this equation. It's 2 pi times F times M.
Okay, so that's actually
So the
going down
frequency is 60.
as intended.
And L, 500 millihenries, that's the same as 0.5 henries if you divide it by 1,000. So 60 times 0.5 is 30, times 2 pi. That's 60 pi, which is 188.5 ohms. So that's the inductive reactance. Once we have that, we can find the current in the circuit. So V is equal to I times XL, which means that the current is equal to the voltage divided by the inductive reactance. The voltage is 120, and the inductive reactance is 188.5. So the current in the circuit is 0.6366 amps. Now what about part C? How much power is dissipated in the inductor? The inductor doesn't dissipate anything, so it's 0 watts. It simply stores energy temporarily in its magnetic field, and then it releases it back. And it's constantly doing it. It's constantly absorbing energy and releasing energy. So it doesn't consume energy. Number 4, a 1.5 kilohertz AC signal at 30 volts is connected across a 100 microfarad capacitor. Calculate the capacitive reactance. So here is the AC signal.
Ah,
and it's
that would be
directly
it.
across a capacitor. So the signal is at 30 volts and 1.5 kilohertz. And the capacitance is 100 microfarads. So let's begin by calculating the capacitive reactance, which is Xc, and is equal to 1 divided by 2
I
pi.
should only be pulling magnesium.
So it's 1 over 2 pi times the frequency. 1.5 kilohertz is 1500 hertz. You gotta multiply it by 1000 to convert it to hertz. And 100 microfarads is basically 100 times 10 to the minus 6 farads. So anytime you hear the word kilo, it's 10 to the 3. Mega, 10 to the 6. Milli, 10 to the minus 3.
Metric
Micro,
system.
add 10 to
It's
the
the
negative
metric
6.
system. Okay. Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, or it's interesting. Unfortunately, I'm out of alcohol at the moment, so I will have to refund you. But I will also have you know that I very quietly slammed a tall boy while we were sitting here listening to AC theory.
1.061. So this is the capacitive reactance of the circuit.
But I appreciate the
Now what
determination.
is the current in the circuit? So V is equal to I
If you were
times
listening
X,
very closely around the
which
time
means I
Wishy rated, I
is
had
V
just
over
finished
MC.
it up.
So it's 30 volts divided by 1.061 ohms. So this yields a current of 28.3 amps.
Hold on, before I get into
So
this, let me
that's the
check my
answer.
meters. Yep, I'm about to run out of
Now,
power.
see, how
Let me
much
go
power is
sit in a
dissipated
ship
by the
and
capacitor?
recharge for a couple seconds. I'm a
Like the
battery,
inductor,
basically.
The capacitor doesn't dissipate anything, so it's 0 watts. It stores energy in its electric field and then temporarily releases it.
Back to my channel.
So this is the answer to part C. For those of you who want to access the full-length version of this video, see the links in the description section below this video. You
Oh,
can access
I
it
didn't realize that
on
my PNG
Patreon
tuber
page,
had frozen up on,
patreon.com/mathscience2,
not the thing.
or you can join my YouTube channel membership program to get those videos as well. So feel free to take a look at that when you get a chance.
Jeez, Molly.
Number 5.
Didn't know you were so
A 500
opinionated
hertz
about AC
signal
current.
At 60 volts draws a current of 2.5 amps when connected across an inductor. What is the inductive reactance? So let's make a list of what we have.
Yeah, no, we're just out here relaxing, enjoying some delicious power theory.
And we also know the current, which is 2.5.
If that's the worst, Thomas, then which one's the best?
So
Come on, I simply must
is
know.
The inductive reactance and also the inductance. Well, we know that V is equal to I times XL. So XL is the voltage divided by the current. 60 volts divided by 2.5 amps.
I don't know, man.
So 60 divided by 2.5.
Jefferson was pretty fucking badass. Man invented electricity.
Or an inductive reactance, rather, of 24 ohms. So that's the answer to part A. Part B, what is the inductance? So once we have XL, we can use this equation to find L. So 24 is equal to 2 pi times the frequency of 500 times L.
So that's specific. Anything on this row
2
should be...
pi times 500 is 1,000 pi. So L is going to be 24 divided by 1,000 pi.
2.
And so L
3.
is 0.00764 henries. To convert that to millihenries, multiply by 1,000. So it's about 7.64 millihenries.
My guy, he didn't even like really figure out how to use it. He just understood.
Other circuits that you need to be familiar with.
If I put metal things near lightning, it makes lightning go to the metal things.
And also a capacitor.
That's entirely unsourced. I have no evidence to back up my claim, but just shush. Don't worry about that. Don't even think too hard about that. Just believe me.
Looks like this.
Just believe my words. Come on, it's fine.
So on the left, we have a resistor and a capacitor.
Cool.
So that's known as an RC circuit. On the right, we have a resistor.
These should be mostly cleaned up by now.
So it's known as an RL.
Like, this should have nothing in it, but it's got uranium for some fucking reason.
Z, which is the impedance, is equal to the square root of R squared plus XL minus XC squared. So for an RLC circuit, that's the equation that you're going to have. For an
Is this
RL
already
circuit,
full?
there is no XC.
No shot.
XC is 0, so it's just going to be R squared plus
That's crazy.
XL squared. And for an RC circuit, there is no XL. Z is going to be R
Have a good night, Molly. Thank you for hanging out, buddy.
XC squared. Now let's go down to the RLC circuit.
This should be iron. Which for some reason there's uranium. I don't understand.
The voltage across the resistor is known as VR, and this is equal to the current multiplied by the resistance. The voltage across the inductor, this is known as VL, and it's equal to the current times the inductive reactance. And the voltage across the capacitor,
This one should be cobalt.
VC, that's going to be equal to the current in the circuit times the capacitive reactance.
Which it has nothing.
Now,
What are you
if wanna
fucking
find the current
refining?
that flows in the circuit, the current's going to be the voltage divided by the impedance, Z.
Oh, cobalt ingot, but not cobalt ore.
R is the resistance in ohms. XL is the inductive reactance, which is also in ohms. XC, the capacitive reactance, is in ohms. Z connects R, XL, and XC together, as we've seen in this equation.
There we go. I just heard it spool up. There we go. Sick.
So Z is a type of...
You should be
It
refining...
has the same unit of resistance, so...
Okay,
just
what are you
as V
supposed to be
equals IR,
refining?
V is equal to IZ. So that's how you can find the total current in the circuit. Just take the voltage
Gold.
divided by the impedance. Now there are some other equations that you need to know. So if you want to find the phase angle, it's XL minus X.
Oh, I just don't have any gold ore.
Tangent
Sick.
of the phase angle. And the phase angle is going to be the arctan of the inductive reactance minus the capacitive reactance over the resistance. You can also use this equation. Cosine of the phase angle is equal to the resistance divided by
Magnesium,
the
huh?
Cosine of the phase angle is also known as the power factor. Now, to calculate the power dissipated by the circuit is equal to I squared times R. Keep in mind, only the resistor dissipates energy. The inductor and capacitor, they both temporarily store it and then release it. So the power that is absorbed by the circuit is I squared R. You can also use this equation. It's equal to the average power is the RMS current and the voltage RMS value.
So this should be refining nickel.
Power factor.
Is it?
So you can also calculate the
It's got magnesium and nickel in there.
And that's basically it. These are the main formulas that you need to know for the RL.
Well, that's increasing, so that tells me that it's burning through as much magnesium as it can.
Now, whenever you have a circuit with a capacitor and an inductor, be it an LC circuit or an RLC circuit, you can calculate the resonant frequency.
This one should
which is
be
1 over 2 pi square root LC.
silicon, platinum.
At the resonant frequency,
This shouldn't be refining anything.
the capacitive
It should be
reactance
empty.
and the inductive reactance
Why is
are
it
equal
filled
to
with
each other.
just bullshit?
So in that case, the impedance, which is the square root of R squared plus XL minus XC squared, since XL minus XC are the same, these two will cancel. XL minus XC is 0. So Z is equal to R.
Nope,
So
that's
at the
correct.
resonant
Is that's just leftovers, I guess,
Make
from
sure you know
the
that capacitive
big
reactance
fucking
reactance
fuck up
XC
that I
equals
did.
XL. And Z,
Oh well.
the impedance is just a resistor. The resistance of the resistor.
It'll slowly burn through those resources and then go back to doing what it's supposed to.
Hz AC signal at 100 volts is connected across an RL circuit consisting of a 300 ohm resistor and an 80 millihenry inductor. Calculate the inductive reactance. So let's draw the circuit first. So we have a resistor and an inductor. So the frequency of the signal is 800 hertz.
Coolio.
And the voltage.
What are you refining? Everything.
Is 100
Fucking
volts.
everything. Why are you refining everything?
Now we have a 300 ohm resistor and an 80 millihenry inductor. So to find the inductive reactance, we can use this equation. XL is equal to 2 pi FL. So that's 2 pi times the frequency of 800 times L, 80 millihenries, or 80 times 10 to the minus 3. If you see milli, you could just add 10 to the negative 3 to it. That's a quick way to convert it.
Okay, so this is supposed to be the silicon one.
So XL is equal to 402 ohms.
I have gone down a rabbit hole that I probably shouldn't have gone down. So I think we're going to finish up naming all of these refineries and call it for the evening.
The impedance is going to be the square root
Because by then we
of
should be
R
done this
squared
video.
plus XL minus XC squared.
What are you
Since there's no
refining?
capacitor
Fucking
circuit,
everything.
XC is 0. So R, the resistor, has a value of 300 ohms, and XL is 402.1. So the impedance of the circuit is 501.7 ohms. Now let's move on to part C. What is the
Okay.
current in the circuit?
What are you supposed to be refining?
It's simply equal to the voltage divided by the impedance. The voltage is
Silver.
100 volts. The impedance is 501.7 ohms. So this is equal to 0.199 amps. So that's the current in the circuit. Now what about part D? What is the phase angle? To calculate the phase angle, we can use this equation. Arctan XL.
I need to get through all of this uranium so I can get onto this refining what it needs to at maximum capacity.
You can see that it's 402.1. XC is 0.
STO and E.
And R, that's 300 ohms.
What are you supposed to be refining?
So
Uranium? Yeah, because that one's scrap.
2.1 divided by 300.
It should be named, and then this should be named appropriately.
This will give you a phase angle of 53.3.
Jeez, sick.
Now there's another way in which we
Cool.
can calculate the phase angle.
And then if I want to expand this, I just copy that design and push it down one, as well as incorporate all of these extra spaces I have built into it.
Divided by Z.
Nuts. It's absolutely
So
nuts.
resistance is 300.
But
and the impedance
this should be maxing out my resource production.
7. I believe that was the number that I used before. So if you type in arc cosine 300 divided by 501.7.
I have enough assemblers for right now because anything I need is basically instantly done. I am thinking I want to expand this out one more because the four are nice, but I'm going to push it one more so that I have 8. I mean, I could add ones on the sides, but then it just kind of looks like another box, and that's less interesting, so...
Then the resistance is 300 ohms. So 0.199 squared times 300, that's about 11.9 watts.
What I like about this, so what I really enjoy about the design I have going on here is, say I want to expand this, I'm going to need an additional storage space, which will be another large cargo container just for, you know, transient items, and then on top of that, a third large cargo container, and I just paste this again, and that's only after I add 3 more onto it, and then it goes infinitely down into the void. Same with this one. Of if I want to do another one, I extend out one and I go straight down, or I can just tack them onto the ends. This is the fact that this is like this means it's not terminal, it's just out there. That goes as long as I need it to. The only one that is limited in its ability to do that is the reactor core. But the reactor core, I shouldn't need more than that provides, and if I do, I also have to the left, to the right, to the reverse, and then also down into the void. So, you know, it's the funny amount of expansion availability. The only bottlenecking thing, which really doesn't matter because of how, thank you, because of how Space Engineers inventory works, is this cargo container is full, but things can still pass through it, and they are, as you can see by this number going up here, and the fact that these all have, you know, stuff being refined. Which they're all doing magnesium right now. Is magnesium really the only thing I have? Ores. What do I have for ores in reserve? I have way too much magnesium. Oopsies. Okay, I have a whole bunch of ore in reserve. But yeah, I think the next big project, before I get on to laying down armored plating over this, and then starting on hangers, is going to be consume this entire rock here. Oh man, if I reach the point where I'm consuming just asteroids, and dumping them off into this, then I am more than capable of. Why is everybody just ganged up in the corner here? What's going on? Anyway, yeah, the plan will be consume this once I'm at the point where I'm easily consuming asteroids like that, and dropping them off into this. I'm more than capable of just flat plating onto that, doing a like long welding. Like my thinking is I'm gonna design a ship with an artificial mass, build like
Energy critical.
Okay, fine. I will go sit down in a chair. You happy now? Don't even have oxygen. But anyways, I'm thinking, and this is just my thought process based off of how I have this Gatling turret here, is I'm going to have the armor plates one block above, so there's an air gap, and there's just space that I can walk around underneath of it and perform maintenance on it as needed. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a metal slab that leads to other rooms. Like I could use the area underneath the main runway here as like a walking area to and from different hangars without having to go across it. Or I could build like bridges and struts across it. I don't know. I haven't like finalized the design any, but it's gonna be interesting to see how this all turns out in the end. But yeah, no, I should probably get out of here. Because I have... Where's my Discord anyway? Ooh, that is a lot of people who want my attention right now. I gotta go. But I do thank you guys for coming to hang out. Wishy, if you're still here, thank you for the raid, homie. It means a lot. But I hope you guys had a wonderful time sitting here just listening to, engineering theory. Or not engineering theory, sorry. AC power theory. While I'm sitting here thinking about it, though, please load up a little bit faster so it sounds like I'm coherent in what I'm trying to do. If you want to follow me on That's Not the Right Command, I really ought to adjust that so it's both. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's where I do all of my stream announcement stuff, like what I'll be doing for the week, as well as if I remember when I'm going live. But if you want a better way of being notified that I'm going live, feel free to join the Discord. I hang out there fairly regularly, especially if I just have nonsense work to do. If you miss a stream and you want some background noise, the YouTube is the place to go. There's actually the entirety of the Omori stream is up on the YouTube right now, or at least it should be. If it's not, I'm going to cry because I saw that part 4 of it was uploaded. Yeah, part 3 of 4 was uploaded, but not like the other 3 parts. What the hell? It's like 12 hours long. Where are the other 3 parts of the first 48 hours of that? That's a 55-hour stream. Bro, what are you... I'm gonna get in a fight with Twitch, but... There's a lot going on. I'm not a fish, Stego. You rat bastard. I'm not a fish. I swear, I'm not. But we are gonna go raid my buddy Mocha. She's doing a little bit of art right now. You know, it feels like the appropriate thing to do. A nice chill engineering stream into a nice chill art stream. So go say hi to Mocha. Got a raid message. Anybody can use it. So feel free to if you'd like to, or if that's not your thing, then, you know, I can't stop you. But yeah, no, I appreciate each and every one of you for coming out and hanging out. I do have a stream plan for Friday. I think I was supposed to be playing Blood on Friday. I just gotta pull up the Twitter to find out real quick. But I'll be back on Friday. We'll be streaming some more on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday I also have streams planned. I think what I'm going to be doing Sunday is Helldivers. I have some plans with friends to do that, but you know, that they're tentative at best. But yeah, no, come hang out on Friday if you need something to do. Yeah, Friday's going to be more Blood. So, old shooters. It's going to be a great time. Oh, what's up, Stego? Well, I guess I'll see you. You guys have a good one. Goodbye.